Your perspective on manipulation will drastically change after you realize how powerful of a tool manipulation is, especially if you're the one someone's trying to manipulate, because that person will think they're the one holding the strings. But today, you will learn how easily you can gain control. In psychology, manipulation is simply defined as a behavior used to influence or control others. It's often used by narcissistic people, enemies, and people in general who don't want you to succeed. Manipulators know what they are doing. Don't think they're being manipulative just because that's the only way they can make someone do something. Keep in mind that manipulation is correlated with higher levels of emotional intelligence. So, how can you outthink someone who is trying to manipulate you? Once you realize someone is trying to manipulate you into doing something, you can simply turn around and walk off, but that's not the best response. You'll live with unanswered questions. Why did that person try to manipulate you? What did they want from you? Let's get this answered. Before we dive into that, you must know that manipulation isn't always bad. There are good types of manipulation out there, but unfortunately most people don't know about them, so they don't use them. Manipulation can be a negative or positive thing depending on whether it takes the form of persuasion or coercion. It's important to understand the difference between these. Persuasion is about getting people to do things they want to do, while coercion is about getting people to do things they don't want to do. If you persuade your friend into inviting his crush on a date by telling him that you heard her talk to her friend about him, you just manipulated your friend, but for good. He will ask her out, they'll go on a date, and later on start dating. There you go. Now you can secretly take credit for their relationship. But on the other hand, if you coerce your friend into buying a sports car that's expensive to maintain just because you want to ride in it for free, you can't consider yourself a good friend. Stick to the end to learn how you can manipulate people into doing good things. I've got some tips and tricks for you. Now, let's find out how it's possible to outthink a manipulator and kill all their manipulative traits. It's actually easy, and it fits in a single sentence a worldwide known multimillionaire has said to be the best advice he ever got in his whole life. Andrew Tate. His father, Emery Tate, once said, "Allow manipulation to find out where your enemy wants you to go. Then use your mind to break the trap and punish the perpetrators." Stop and reread the sentence a couple of times. Only then will you realize how beautifully this was put together. It might seem contradictory, but Emery's son explained this in simple terms. If your enemy is attempting to manipulate you, you should never, ever turn your back and reveal that you realized their intentions. If you do so, you will never find out what their end goal was. You won't know what they tried to make you believe, or do, or think. Not only that, but now you left them another opportunity to manipulate you again. Now they know you didn't fall for it, so instead of letting go, they'll simply change their tactics, and it may happen to you again. On top of that, you never learned their tactics, so the next time someone you actually trust tries to manipulate you, you could still be a victim to it. This two-part strategy is a nightmare of every manipulator. But how can you do it? Next time someone tries to manipulate you, stay calm and act like their plan is working. It won't be easy, but pretend like you're doing as they say. Once you realize what their goal is, be bold and have a conversation about it. Ask them about what you think their motive might be and try to see how you can compromise in a way that meets both of your needs. That's it. Easy and simple, but still so deep. People that tried to manipulate you will realize how you outsmarted them, and they will never again try to mess with you. This approach is quite practical, and we can see its effectiveness in various scenarios, like in business strategies, social interactions, or even physical competitions like kickboxing, where Andrew Tate has had significant success. And as always, I've got examples to support my words. How can this be implied in business and entrepreneurship? Successful entrepreneurs, like Andrew himself, often use the manipulation reaction strategy. They are attuned to market trends and understand their competitors' intentions, which allows them to anticipate moves and strategically position their businesses. For instance, if a competitor is attempting to manipulate the market, the entrepreneur can go along with it to understand the enemy's end goal, and then take advantage of the situation. It's also something you can use on yourself. It's impossible to get the best possible version of your body if you don't understand your body. I know it's not manipulation, but you can't say it doesn't correlate with this advice. You must realize the capabilities of your current shape, the pros and cons of your body build, and so on in order to get the best body possible. Not only can this advice be applied in business and in personal life, but also in your overall career. Let's say you're an MMA fighter that specializes in jiu-jitsu and your opponent is a boxer. You're not going to only spend time in jiu-jitsu training before the fight, but also in boxing training. It's pretty self-explanatory. The quote's essence can also be applied to our approach to mental health. By recognizing negative thoughts and emotions instead of resisting them, we can understand their sources. We can then devise ways to overcome these feelings and move towards positivity. This advice is literally the key to living a comfortable life, and this video is called Allow Manipulation If You Want to Succeed for a Reason. Let me know if I can get a subscribe for sharing this advice with you, or maybe even reminding you. Have you heard about it before? Comment down below and let me know. Now, this lesson would be incomplete without mentioning positive manipulation. If you're a positive person who always smiles, you're already positively manipulating people around you. It's one more way to get people to like you, and even though it's not classified as technical manipulation, it still is. If you're always smiling, people will see you as an impressive person. Once you meet with someone, have a nice conversation, and leave a good impression, their mood will be uplifted when it's time to say goodbye. Harmless social manipulation. You are capable of creating a good day or a bad day. Instead of making someone angry, sad, or bored, bring them up whenever it's possible. Seek out the good traits in each person and try to help these people see those good traits. It's an honest challenge that will launch you into the next level of the good life. And on top of making their day, you can be a huge motivator. That person will want to become better just because of you. Once this becomes your daily routine, and when people around you start liking you more than ever, you can start manipulating them with words. Give them stupid reasons why they should do something they've been wanting to do for some time now, but they can't just because something silly is holding them back. In most cases, these people are just waiting for someone to give them some encouragement to take on their goal. I personally found myself in a situation in which I hesitated to do something even though I wanted to do it, but I just couldn't make it happen. I often used to start conversations around that exact topic just so I could get a chance to get that thing off my mind and potentially receive some advice or encouragement that's parallel with what I've always wanted to do. Emery Tate's statement is not merely a quote. It's a mindset, a strategy, and a way of life. It embodies a unique approach to overcoming obstacles, understanding opponents, and emerging victorious. By embracing manipulation as a tool for insight rather than an enemy, we can outwit opponents and pave the way for our success. Just as Andrew Tate has shown us in his diverse ventures, it's about using one's mind to break the trap and turn the tables in our favor. And if you want to learn how to persuade anyone to do anything, click the video on the screen.